Hi, Statesman Nation. We're here with John Henry as we preview the 2024-25 Statesman men's basketball season. Coach, before we get into this coming year, let's talk about last year. We don't have to talk about it fast. I know you don't want to probably relive a whole lot of that, but let's just talk about it quick and let's move on.
Didn't do well. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We weren't very good, and we had been very good for a long time. Circumstances, issues, problems, excuses, and I'm not going to do that. We failed for expectations, and we had a bad season. And no, it's not something I want to relive, but it is in the record books forever, so it'll be there. And you know, looking back on it, there's some things that could have been done differently from player standpoint, coach's standpoint, everybody's standpoint, and we've learned from that, and going to be better this year.
That's right. Just learn from it, right? All right. Let's talk about the offseason and how you started to learn from it and fix the problems that you were having, things that you want to do. Obviously, part of that is recruiting.
Well, first and foremost, recruiting. We only have 3 returning letter winners on our varsity roster currently, so it's a lot of new guys, and it was needed. I wish I could say specifically at a certain position, but it was needed pretty much across the board. Just reset a lot of things. Retention within our staff too helps. Although we did add 2 members, but we still got the core of our staff back from the last 2 to 3 years. And get that going a little bit with new personalities and everything else, and just hit the reset button a little bit and just clean a lot of things up and get remotivated in a way that we haven't been in quite some time. And some of that is depressing, and some of it's refreshing. We try to see the positive, so we'll go with refreshing.
There you go, refreshing.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. All right, let's break down the roster however you want. I think maybe it makes most sense go from point guard and up, or do you want to talk about returners first?
Well, before I start talking about players, I'm going to leave some out.
Sure.
And it's not, for any reason other than I'm just going to highlight a few. I'm not going to run through the entire roster.
Yep.
If moms or grandmas are watching this and I don't mention your baby, I apologize in advance. But I'm going to keep it as short as possible with players because, quite frankly, you and I have spoke off air is that you and your staff keep asking for a roster, and I keep putting you off. We haven't even taken a team photo yet.
Not ready for it, yeah.
Because we haven't made final decisions. We're still waiting on some compliance and some injuries and stuff like that. But I would say, with our 3 returners, Manny Hammonds being a little bit of the headliner, being the freshman of the year last year, having him back, and having be in year 3 as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. Very excited about his growth as a player and just having him around in general. Very great kid. The kind of kid you want as the boy next door or the guy dating your cousin. So I didn't say daughter.
I was like, maybe not your daughter.
Oh, no, he is. I would be very happy to have that young man at my front door. My daughter is engaged, though.
Yeah.
But Manny's great. And, you can't ask for a better student-athlete. Classroom, court, personality, everything, and his parents obviously did a great job, and his whole family. He'll be playing the wing for us, probable starter unless something wild happens. But it brings a lot to the table, again, on and off the court. Marcellus Bryant, what he makes up in size, he's bringing to the table in desire right now. I'm really happy with his growth as a player thus far through 30 practices and 2 scrimmages. I got to be honest, and he would be happy to hear this too, that I really didn't anticipate him making this big of a splash this early, and he has. And it's great for him, and I'm very happy about that. Justin Bradley, athletic kid, started some games for us last year. And when I say athletic, I'm talking like in my 24 years, he's up there in the top 5 for jumping ability. Like he can really, really get up. When I say he can top 5 in 24 years, that's a lot of guys that could really fly. And this young man can really get up and do some different things athletically. He's really stretch the game, being able to step out and shoot it a little bit, just a better understanding of what we do and how we have stepped up as a coaching staff, what we are doing. He's come along with us in that regard as well. And very happy for all three of those guys and looking forward to them having more success than last year. The rest of our roster is all new, as I said. I don't like to use the word headliners, but I'll mention a couple of them. Roy Jones Jr., point guard. I think our fans will really like him, in regard of he's just a massive, big muscle-bound water bug of energy and defense and spit and grind is the best way I can put it. He's going to be able to score a little bit, but he's fast and he will distribute. Isaac Hobricht comes from a family of college basketball. Tough kid, do a little bit of everything. I'm going to play him as a combo guard at the one and the wing. He naturally is a point guard, but we're going to play him off the ball because of Marcellus and Roy being there as well. Malik Oates, can't go without saying Malik Oates, 6'9". I'm going to estimate on his weight, and I'm not sure he'll like that, but I'm going to put him at 260-ish on the plus side of 260, not the lower side of 260. Different post player than we've had in a while. And we've had a long line of All-Americans at that position, guys that have gone on and played pro. A little bit different skill set than what some of our everyday fans are going to see. Not necessarily an above-the-rim guy, but can step out and do some different things. Excellent passer. Had a little bit of injury issues so far, but should be okay for our opener. I could list another 10, 12 guys. I'm not going to do that. There is another 8 to 9 guys, and again, I don't want to leave anybody else out, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And as far as the projected starting lineup, other than Manny, I don't really know. A lot of those guys could be in there, but like I said, with injuries and still working together and still trying to figure out our identity and our mesh is still happening to this day. And as we record right now, it's a little before 1 because you were late. Practice is at 3:30, and another day of trying to get ready for our first real game, and I'm excited.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the schedule a little bit, starting with the Governor State tournament this weekend that we've gone to a few years now, and we like to go to Chicago, and it's face some teams that we wouldn't face otherwise. Let's talk about that real briefly, and then we'll just talk about a few other games and talk about the Heart.
The Chicago trip I enjoy. Governor State's been good to us. Their head coach and I are friends. And I like to go to Chicago. I know that Chicago is a city before I say this, but Chicago is one of the states that I like to recruit. I consider it a state, just like I enjoy, Texas kids and Louisiana kids and other states. I call Chicago a state. And we usually have players from there and or alumni that are there, or friends of the program can come see. It's also not too far away to where we can travel and not be completely, overwhelmed when we get back. Playing IU Kokomo in the first game and East West in the second. It's the same thing we did last year. Don't necessarily like that, but I committed to the Governor State Classic. I think it was for a 3-year deal, and we'll discuss whether or not we're going to go there next year. But IU Kokomo got us really good last year by a lot. I know the score and I know how much it was, but I'm not going to say it. And then, in our past, IU Kokomo got us in the second round here at home of the national tournament in a shocker at the buzzer. So there are some ghosts of IU Kokomo. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to go and, beat IU Kokomo and put that to rest, because I don't know if that game in the national tournament here will ever be put to rest. But, familiar foe, very great program, very good coach, very good players. We'll have our hands full, especially for an opener. I wish we had a lesser opponent. A lot of people like to play the best right away. I would like to see what we have. But, hey, we're going to see what we have against the best, and it'll be a great measuring stick. The next day, it is East-West. It's not a tournament format. It's a classic, so we will play East-West, team out of Chicago. No disrespect to East-West, but we haven't discussed them at all. We're going to concentrate on IU Kokomo, and then we'll break down East-West. After we're done with IU Kokomo, we'll probably watch them play Governor State and then get to work on them in the hotel, win or lose with IU Kokomo to try and do our best in each game.
Yeah.
Come back and have the powerful Northwestern on Tuesday at home. Everybody, please come out. I don't know when this is airing, but please come out for that. I'm sure they'll bring a bunch of people from Northwest Iowa, maybe even from the area. So it'd be great to have a good home crowd for that. They're ranked, I think, 13th in the country. Very awesome team. I thought they'd be in the top 10, if not the top 5 preseason. Great coaching staff, great players again. And this is the end of the beginning of a 2-year series with them. We'll go to them next year. With the strength of schedule being a measuring stick for rankings and national tournament and whatnot, both sets of coaches decided that this was a good idea for us to get after each other a little bit.
All right, let's talk about the conference. Obviously we were just on the outside looking into the tournament last year. Expectation, I'm assuming,
which was
a little bit higher.
Which was so strange.
Yeah, right.
I will touch on that for just a second. Having won it, I think 6 years in a row and being in the championship, I don't know what the statistics are, but it was just so hard for me and for people within the program and people that were former players to not even be in the conference tournament. I mean, me and my wife have this thing where it's like, it used to be Championship Sunday when we were in the Midwest Collegiate. Now I think it's Championship Tuesday, to whatever, and it was just a given. So then for this past year to not even be in the conference tournament was just mind blowing. And I just want to. It was never a goal to make the conference tournament. It was to win it, and to not be in it last year was just unacceptable. And I hope everybody that's a fan of the program or former player knows that we talk about that a lot. Sure. We're going to clean that up.
All right.
That is my one thing that I will say on air that I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Let's talk about the conference just as a whole. You've got Baker, Peru State, Mid-Am, a lot of teams that have, I wouldn't say been there year after year, because it seemed like the conference is kind of moving up and down and everything. Obviously, we're technically currently on the outside looking in on everything, but how do you think the conference is going to fall together, and then where the Statesmen going to fall in and all that?
I really have no idea. I looked at their rankings. I haven't studied them by any means. I saw them when they came out, just like everybody else, and saw that we were 10th, which again is crazy to feel. And you say how everybody kind of slides up and down. Well, the one common was us, and for us to be picked 10th was just, it was hard to look at, to be honest with you. Now, that's probably what we deserve after last year, and with having a whole new team. I mean, that's about all I have to say about that. I mean, we're picked 10th in our league. We're usually ranked in the top 10 in the country, it's different, and it's hard to imagine, wrap your brain around. And but what are you going to do? You're going to cry about it? Go do something about it, or just be 10th in the league and let it happen. So, as far as the other teams in the league, they're all good. I mean, any game, any night, whether it be at home or on the road, I just have a lot of respect for everybody that works in our league, specifically in men's basketball, and the coaches do a great job. And every year, it could be anybody, especially with the ways of the world, with the portal and everything else. I mean, you could be 13th or 10th like us, and next year be first, because it's just, that's the ways of the world. It used to be you could build a program or have some young guys develop, but now, I mean, it's got to be, what are you doing tomorrow? In a way. So, I mean, they're all good.
Yeah. No, and that's fine. That was more or less the answer I was expecting. It's a dogfight every time out, right?
Yep.
For sure. All right. Finally, let's put a bow on it. The team is different. The expectations, everything's different, right?
Yeah.
But what's it going to take for this year's team to have the success that you guys would like to have, and that the goals that you've set?
What do we have to do to reach our goals, and what are our goals? Is that what you're asking me?
Not so much your goals, just what's it going to take to reach your goals? Yeah.
Yeah, continue to get better every day, and it's been a slow process, but continue to get better every day. I know it's coach speak, and I don't like that sort of thing. I wish I had a splashy answer for you, Wade, or something charismatic, but I really don't. Just continue to get better every day. Find our identity. I know it's been 30 practices, but hang our hat on something.
Right.
And even within the 2 scrimmages, I think the one thing that I can say about us is that we're going to be scrappy, and we're going to play hard. We're not always going to play great, but it's going to be all over the floor, and they're going to fight. It may not be clean looking, but I'm pretty sure this group will be scrapping and clawing every night. Again, I don't know how beautiful it's going to look, but they're going to get after people. And if we do truly find an all-out identity within the group, I think we could really surprise some people, because I know what I see every day is a scrappy, hungry group that is reminded all the time that they've been picked 10th. So we'll see.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Once again, John Henry, head men's basketball coach here at William Penn. The team opens up at the Governor State Classic this weekend. IU Kokomo on Friday, East West on Saturday, and then Northwestern at home here in Penn Gymnasium next Tuesday. So best of luck, coach. Everything Statesmen Athletics on statesmanathletics.com, all of our social media channels. So we'll keep tabs on them. Best of luck, coach.
Thank you.